So anyway, I'm in Denver, Colorado. And one thing is like Denver doesn't have a lot of public restrooms available for anybody, but it seems like it's very, I don't know, geared towards homelessness. I did one time go into a Whole Foods where they made me purchase something in order to use the restroom. This is one restroom that I was able to find at this park on the 16th Street Mall Strip. I know the street over this way is Lawrence, but I don't really know the name of this street. But yeah, this restroom is locked and it's already like 7:25. And the thing with the men's restroom is like they have one stall and one urinal, and the stall doesn't have a door, where the women's restroom has two stalls and their stalls have doors. And I don't know, I guess it's like to prevent people from using drugs or something. Now back there's homeless services when you go towards that way. And I know one place was St. Francis, and it was the same thing. They had a lot of restrooms, but a lot of restrooms with no doors. And I don't know, it's very like, I don't know, that's like weird, you know. And those restrooms are like compact, like they're piled up on each other. There's another place back there, but I was really like, I didn't know what time this restroom opened, so I just was hoping that it would be open by now. But it's going on, like I said, like 7:25, so maybe it opens up at 8. Another thing was like when I went to go wash clothes, I was able to use the restroom at a laundromat. But yeah, never really experienced a thing like this. Like I was trying to think, maybe when I was in Santa Fe, but they even had like outdoor restrooms that were available, like portables that were available. And I'm trying to think, what else did I do? Yeah, I went to the Salvation Army, so a lot when I was in Santa Fe. But yeah, New Orleans had a lot of outdoor portables. I don't know if that was due to COVID or because New Orleans has a lot of construction, or I don't know, but it was a lot of outdoor portables that you were able to find at night if you walked around. But then in the day they had restrooms open to the public, you know, and then you could also go to the mall. You could go so many places, and this is a mall area, but this is the only restroom that I've been able to find. And then like, yeah, if I go to a homeless service, but it's like I don't really want to go all the way there or deal with all that I have to deal with just to get into the restroom. And then that, it won't even be private. The other one that I know of is like 30 minutes away. I guess I could do more research, but it's like, well, damn, you gotta go through all this to go to the restroom. Strangely, San Francisco had a lot of restrooms, but it was a lot of people shitting on the ground in San Francisco. I would say people shitted on the ground in LA, but in San Francisco was like by far, like a lot of people just shitting on the ground. But San Francisco, to me, had at least places you could go to use the restroom, so I don't know, I guess that was their decision. But here, strangely, is not a lot of shit on the ground. There's shit on the ground in the alleys and stuff like that, but I don't see how not, because it's no restrooms. I don't see how people aren't just shitting everywhere, you know. They keep the streets clean, but it's really fucked up. But anyway, that they don't have enough restrooms for people. Yeah, so that's one thing that's, I don't know what that's all about. To me, it feels like it's I looked up something where it was like criminalizing homelessness, and that when I looked it up, I guess my phone automatically sent me to stuff about Denver, and they were saying like 85% of the homeless people said like when they were denied access to restrooms because of businesses were discriminating on them because they were homeless. Now, for my one experience when I went to Whole Foods, I had to purchase something in order to use the restroom. So that's the only place I knew that I've tried so far. And then So it wasn't like I was turned away, but I was made to purchase something. I don't know. And then when I went to Walmart, but I didn't use the restroom at Walmart. I thought I would, but when I forgot that it didn't happen. So I can't say with Walmart, but yeah. So that's one thing. I just like when I go to these cities. I haven't sold anything on the street yet, but sometimes I like go to the cities and I'll be like, I could keep on. Excuse me, I'm drinking coffee and belching, but I could keep on going on like this, but it's like if it's easy, but this is like tough, like, cause it's really changed my whole routine, because I have to really plan my restroom breaks. And then I pee anywhere, because I could pee, but I can't do a number two anywhere. So anyway, that may be too much information, but I don't know. I love all these cities. I think they're. I don't know. I love the city. I don't really love, like, I guess what cities represent, like, and like and their tactics sometimes of like how they want to deal with homelessness. But I definitely would like to come back to Denver, but that's something I have to keep in mind. Like, when you go see somebody shitted over there, I think there's some shit right there. Because, people probably be spiteful, but shit, like, give it. Like, yeah, good for them. Anyway, have a good one. Hey, I just made it to my Happy Creek. So I got to use the restroom. I guess it's 8:04 right now. My last video was talking about like that there's not a lot of public restrooms in Denver, Colorado, and I don't know what time that restroom opens. The one that I was sitting at or waiting at, but I feel like it should have opened earlier. That maybe somebody was running late, but in the video I showed that somebody, like, it's restrooms and then they have an office door, and the office, I guess, is where the park people for that particular park, I guess they set up in that office or something, and someone shitted on the office door in the corner. And so when it was three guys. I feel like some of the guys were working, but I guess the boss had to come in and give the okay to open up the restrooms. So when the guy opened up the restroom, he said, "You see that?" And so so then they started to hose off the shit that was left there. And my thing is, like, I don't understand why people are angry with homeless people. Like everybody's situation is different to why they're homeless. But even if a person made the decision to be homeless, because I feel like that's people's idea of like why, that's why people feel like they have the right to be angry, or that's why they're angry with homeless people, because they feel like, oh, they just made the decision to be homeless and I'm mad at them for choosing this lifestyle. And it's like, I don't get why people would be mad. Like if you are doing what you want to do in your life, then why would you be mad at someone else for this situation? Especially, like, even if you're believing like they're choosing to live like this, like and it's really messed up if someone has fallen into the cracks of homelessness and it wasn't up to them. Like maybe they're dealing with something that you don't know anything about, and you're mad at them because they're going through some shit right now. Like, and the older I get and the more I learn about like psychology and the way the mind works, some people can't help what's going on in their head, and or physical, like if their body has a problem, or if they're emotionally going through something psychologically. Everybody's going to react differently, and not everybody's going to be able to just do what they're just what's expected to be in the society. So those people will fall through, or tend to fall through, or people don't have support, like family or friends, or all sorts of things, and I don't see how people could be mad at people for being homeless, you know. And in one video was like the guy was like, "Why would if you're homeless, like I guess you should just go off into the wilderness and be homeless. Not you shouldn't be in the city and be homeless, like because you're making the city look bad, but." In the city is where all the resources are, so that's why people gravitate into the cities. But if you're dealing with homelessness, and especially if you're homeless and you don't want to be homeless, I don't think what you're worried about or thinking about is like, oh, I'm making the city look bad. You might think about like, oh, I'm making the city look bad, and I feel bad because I'm making the city look bad. But most likely you're going through other shit like you're not really thinking about. I'm making the city look bad. Like, and if the city cared, if the city cared about the homeless making the city look bad, then the city should do something about fixing the problem. But to me, cities make it more difficult. And I don't know much about like those systems and how they work, cause I was just while I was sitting there, I was looking at this video about LA, cause I was trying to figure out like why is Denver not have a lot of restrooms, and I was like maybe some information will come up about like the reason behind that. Maybe because maybe it's some reason, maybe it's more reasons to it than I know. But what came up was LA, and it was 2 years ago, the information, and it was saying like LA, they couldn't afford enough restrooms for the amount of homelessness that they have, and homeless people were saying businesses were turning them away for being homeless. So it became this issue, and that was 2 years ago. I'm sure it's even worse now, where there was a lot of people just using the restroom on the street, in neighborhoods, and on businesses. Wherever there were camps, they were using the restroom on the street, and people were concerned about stepping in the human waste and bringing it into their homes. And so, and then the person who I guess was over all that was saying, well, we can't afford to like provide restrooms for all the camps. But when I was in LA, that was 2 years ago that this information was put out. But like when I was in LA, I would say like a lot of camps did have restrooms at that point, and I stayed on the beach, so there was restrooms on the beach. But it still seems like it was an issue. So you know, so yeah, like I said, I don't know where all the funding goes. I don't know how that all works, but I feel like if you have a city that has a difficult, like if you have a big homeless population, then you should provide restrooms. Like at least have like um, public restrooms for everybody, and then the homeless people could use those. But even people who are just like walking around in the neighborhood who are housed and have jobs and stuff, I suppose they have better access to restrooms because they're probably going into restaurants and they're going into work and stuff. And they most likely will buy something from a business if they have to use the restroom. But a homeless person, I don't know, they can't do that. They gotta, well, they can either go to the homeless services that are out here. But yeah, that's my rant. Anyway, it took all the way up to like almost 8 o'clock to finally get to use the restroom. But now I'm at my happy creek, and I'm gonna just work on stuff. And I don't know, it makes me want to be more on this side. Like I know people probably look at me and be like, I don't know, they don't get it, and I know I need to understand like not everybody's gonna get me, and I don't have to live my life for people to understand me. One thing I was thinking about was like, I one thing I saw on Instagram was like, you hold it together until you could show people how weird you are, but you hold it together until it's too late. Like, now, like, I don't know, now they have to settle with you because they've been with you so long, and now you can release how weird you are. And I feel like that's definitely, I don't know, I know I'm not saying it right, but that's how I felt. I felt like I contained who I was in order to allure people in, or, to, But eventually, once I would express who I was, it didn't fit. And now it's just like, I'm just gonna be who I am, and whoever comes along, comes along. The one thing I've realized is like, whenever I put myself in a setting, there's always community wherever you go. You don't have to really worry about like not finding your people. Even being an introvert, people find me and who resonate with me, and that was a fear of mine. Like, because I think like we need we need community to survive, and I guess that's ingrained in us. Like, we need to fit in to survive, and but I feel like maybe you don't have to work so hard to fit in. Like, you'll fit into something, you'll figure something out, and the more time I do this, and the more people that I meet who like me for me while doing this, I'm better at letting go of the people who don't get it. Like, because it was like a time where I was really trying to keep people who knew me for who I was, but didn't really get what I was doing. And now, mostly all those people are kind of not relevant anymore. And now the people who are coming in my life are the people who are like-minded and on the same type of path. And that's the community I need to have, because those are the people who I'm gonna have to rely on, and they hopefully can rely on me in some way, you know. And the other people, like, I don't know, like, yeah, they're living in their, dream world, I guess, or they're living in the life they want to live, but that might not necessarily be the one for me. So anyway, all right, have a good one. Bye.